This is a Super Saiyan. And this is what is known as a Super Saiyan that has ascended past a Super Saiyan. Is to go even further beyond!
Welcome all of you lovely goblins and ghouls of the internet. I am your Hanyo. And I just got back from seeing Terrifier 2 a day or two ago. Had trouble recording this, but hey, here now. So, Terrifier 2. It's been a long time since the movie's been announced for a while. It got pushed back by the pandemic for the better part, almost 2 years, right? Yeah, the original trailer came out in 2020. That's right. Wow. Well, the film's here, and what do I think about it? Well, I have to say first, the film's fantastic. Been a minute since I saw a truly good gore fest, which, hey, have you seen, what's his name again? Damien Malone? How do you pronounce this? Yeah, Damien Leone. I think that's how you pronounce his name. You've seen the original Terrifier, the short film Terrifier, and The Ninth Circle. Then you know that the man's fantastic with gore special effects. But I really want to give it a shout out to him and how much he's improved with direction. Not to be mean to the man, but when we watched the first Terrifier, the original, the one before this movie, one from 2016, he was not, I don't blame it on him. You know, performances, director and actors, a two-way streak. But the performances given by the actors wasn't the strongest. And the characters, like, nobody felt natural in the film. And because nobody felt natural, it felt kind of hard to take most of the deaths seriously or taking the character seriously. Basically, it was the Art the Clown show, the whole hour and a half, just to watch Art butcher as many people as he could and him having a blast. But for this film, I don't know if he just had more experienced actors, or he himself has just improved with giving direction, because everyone in the film, I don't want to say everyone, there was moments where it was kind of a little hokey, but heck, the film is paying kind of tribute to hokey B-movies of the 80s and 70s. But almost all of the characters felt more real, it felt more natural. It didn't just feel like people were giving a performance. You could lose yourself in the characters for a bit. And I want to give my hat off to him for that. Now, for everything else, it's mostly the first movie amped up to 11. Like, the first Terrifier was like obviously like a 10. This is probably like a 15 in terms of gore, the blood, the violence. I mean, if you just came here for a Splatterfest, you're gonna get it. Heck, I remember the theater I was in. There was not a lot of people in the theater, but the theater I was in, there was a couple. Like, I think they're a little bit old. I don't want to be mean, but they were kind of up there in age, I think. Halfway through the certain scene, the big blood scene, if you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. They just left before it even got a chance to finish. Just got up and left it. They can handle it. And I gotta say, they can handle it. The person who was sitting next to me, she kept covering her eyes during the whole thing. Most of the thing. But I also want to give another criticism of the original Terrifier that is fixed in this film. I don't say for it fix, but I say improve upon is the story. The first Terrifier didn't really have a story. Because again, it was just the Art the Clown show the whole way through. This Terrifier had a little bit more of a story. You had the main central character. Her name was Selena? Yeah, Sienna Shaw. Yeah, Sienna, who acts our lead character, and this whole backstory about her father who committed suicide. And he didn't commit suicide. He died of brain cancer. I'm getting a little spoiled. I'm going to shut my mouth a little bit about that. But the whole point is that her dad's dead. Her and her brother are still kind of coping with it. And you have that as this trauma center. And it spans throughout the whole film through their character. Another interesting aspect of the film is the expansion on art. Because in the first movie, the original, not the first, like the very first movie, the 2016 film, is left very ambiguous till the final end moment if art is supernatural or not. You're thinking is he just a crazy guy in a clown costume, or is he this demon who just looks like a clown? You kind of get an answer at the end of the film. And this is explored more. You get to learn a little more about art. Not so much. He's still a very mysterious character. But you get a brief idea of what he is and what he's connected to. Also, gotta give a hands up to the special effects. The special effects are more or less the same. The gore. The gore is mostly the same compared to the earlier film. But it is hiked up just a bit. You can tell they put a lot of work into these practical effects, the practical makeup. Like, none of it looks particularly real. Like the dismemberment or the cuts, or the dismemberment, the cuts, or anything like that. None of it looks particularly real. Like when they cut to the prop hand being sawed off, you can tell it was a prop, but it kind of helps with the fun factor. It also kind of helps with how much you can handle it, because in some shots they kind of do it so you can tell it's just more, this is for the fun. Then other shots, you can tell you're truly trying to disturb and, terrify your audience. And the bedroom scene, I'm not going to explain more. that is the perfect example for that. And Terrifier 2, it is a bloody good time through and through. It never felt too long. Oh, scratch that. There is a bit too long. There is one scene in the film that could have been taken out. I don't think... No, it should have been left in, but it could have been cut down just a little bit. But besides that, no, the film worked perfectly. The 2 hours and 30 minutes, nothing felt not needed. Everything felt necessary. The acting's on point. Art is working his way up to be a horror icon. He's gonna probably take over Jason if the big boy doesn't return soon. Oh yeah, this is the spoiler section. So if you haven't watched the movie, skip out now. But if it's still playing in your area, if they still happen to have it for a reason, which I don't think they will, go see it. Or wait till it comes to streaming, which I think will be available on Screenbox, probably within the next couple of weeks. So for spoiler section, I liked how the film opened up exactly where the first one left off. You see Art coming back to life. You see him killing the morgue, whoever works at the morgue, where they are called, and you get introduced to the blood right away. And while that's fun and creepy, what I love right after that, Art just goes to a laundromat, strips down naked, washes his clothes. He's just sitting there. But in this scene, we get introduced to the creature who, I think she was just called Smiling Girl in the credits, but I would just refer to her as the entity at this point, who looks like just a little girl version of Art, and is shown to us that she is invisible to other people. So only Art can see her, and he just came back to life. So she is the entity that is not possessing Art. I don't think she's possessing him. She is guiding him. Like, compared to another movie just came out, Hellraiser. She's like the Leviathan, and Art is her priest. He is following her orders. He is mimicking her. We still don't know who Art was before this. We don't know if he was a normal guy, if he was raised in its cult. So they're still keeping Art more or less mysterious, which is good. I think it's best to leave him mysterious, unless you have this amazing epic backstory. Probably best to not let us know where he came from. But when we get introduced to the character of Sienna, cannot remember this woman's name. Sienna. When you get introduced to Sienna's character, I liked it. It was a little too long, I would say. When you see her her artist cosplay, making these this armor that's been teased throughout the film. We actually get to see her wear it. She's like a Valkyrie, some kind of warrior angel. And we see this in a dream sequence, which is probably I'd say it's probably the second best scene in the film. I need to see it again to say which is obviously the best, but you see a little bit in the trailer where it's the clown girl singing a song for a commercial, And you have these kids, which are obviously not kids. They're a bunch of grown-ups dressed up pretending to be children, which I don't know if the silliness makes it better or I don't know. It's so weird. But Art comes out, kills everyone. He does his thing. He does it with a smile on his face. He passes out candies and he just guns them all down. But in this scene, we are shown that connection Sienna has with Art, with her father's sword. Or I guess it'd be a short sword. It's kind of like a blade. Don't know the proper term. She is in her dream. Art goes with her with a flamethrower. She takes the sword and blocks it. And when she wakes up, the wings she made for herself is on fire. Her entire dresser is destroyed, but the blade is okay. And we get to learn later in the film, like, not that much later, but like I said, the other section, their father's dead. And we're led to believe that the son is kind of sick in the head. He's obsessed with serial killers. He's obsessed with art. He's gonna do something awful one day. Or he's gonna maybe turn to art later in the film. But no, we're shown that before their father died, he was kind of investigating art. He had clippings of an incident at a carnival where a little girl died. And some other article, I can't remember what. And he was drawing pictures, not of art, but also his victims from the first film. And we have this idea of destiny throughout, that the whole film is leading up to Art facing off with Sienna, which leads to this epic battle at the end where the two are just beating each other. Oh God. It's got brutal. More brutal than most of the superhero films out nowadays. Mostly because a lot of them are too scared to show any blood, but that was kind of the point. It was a bloodbath. But I also like this because I think Damien Leone, I'm going to remember his name. He deserves it. He deserves it at this point. He's not just tying in to Terrifier, the original short film that the 2016 film is basically a remake of. I think he's also taking elements from The Ninth Circle and what's the other film? The other segment in All Hallows Eve. It's gonna tell me. Okay, I don't see it on this little thing, but in All Hallows Eve, you have The Ninth Circle, this weird alien film that doesn't really connect to anything, and once again, Terrifier. Now, The Ninth Circle has Art the Clown, but only for the first few minutes. The rest of the film is basically this girl being tormented and assaulted by demons. But if you tie that back to this installment, we kind of see that Art is connected to these demons. He is following them, worshipping them. He is their vessel. We are not exactly sure. But also, and Sienna is pushed into this pit. The pit is kind of like lined with not circles, it was like carnival lights. And it gave off that feeling from the ninth circle to an extent. So I think Leone is connecting that. He's going to expand more on this demon realm and Terrifier 3 or 4, how many he's going to make of these. But I think it also is expanding to the Alien film in the second installment of All Hallows Eve, because in that short film has really nothing to do with art till like the last moment where you see Art's painting, and it distracts the alien. Actually, no, I don't think you actually see what the alien looks at the painting at all. But no, if you pay attention to the beginning of that film, the woman who is the main character, she says there's this painting that her husband made, and it's the Art the Clown painting. She says her husband doesn't really even remember painting it, that it came to him in his dreams. Or something to that equation. Did I spell that wrong? You see nothing. Yeah, so the husband doesn't even remember painting it, or it came to him in a dream or something like that. Now this also kind of connects to Terrifier 2, because in Terrifier 2 they're saying that the husband he was sick, I think it was brain cancer. He wasn't really himself the last few months, and he didn't even remember doing a lot of things. So this is connecting to that alien installment. So I'm not sure if the segments in All Hallows Eve, if they are canceled out, and he's just incorporating those ideas into this new trilogy or quadrilogy, where it's going to be, or if the events in All Hallows Eve have already happened, are canon to these events. So maybe we'll see aliens in part 4 or 5 or 6. How many of these are going to come? But I also do want to talk about Sienna, because we see a lot. They are connected, her and Art. Like, I didn't notice this till like preparing for this video. If you look at the color scheme on her sweater she wears around the second act, not really second act, but throughout the film, it is a stripe white and black sweater, which matches Art's clothes as well. So, like, you're pointing out that, yeah, these two are going to face off. And you see that when she's the only one who can stand up to Art, she's hurting him. So she has she either is already supernaturally strong, or she has some divine protection against Art. And I wonder if we're going to get more expanded on her. Like, where her powers come from. Is she an angel? Or some kind of other divine power that is protecting her? Or has chosen her to be the champion to defeat Art and the entity that he follows? And I also want to talk about real quick that ending scene where Art is kind of born again. Because in the opening of Terrifier 1, Victoria, his victim of that film, she loses it, which, hey, can you blame her after everything she went through? But no, she loses it, and she attacks the reporter who interviewed her. Now we cut back to her at the end of this film, and she's writing all these obscenities in her blood. She's bleeding down from she's bleeding, and you see she's removing something from her, and at the last shot of the film is Art's head. And this is weird because Art was already decapitated by Sienna, which the little demon girl took with her. So I'm not sure if they're implying that Art is being born again through her, that he's gonna pop out like little Art, he can pop out like a little Art baby. You don't know. Or if she has to do something, the demon the entity just gave her his head and brought it back, that she had to perform some kind of ritual to bring Art back. And then, how many more people are like this? Like, it's just the presence of Art to hurt, like mutilating you if his presence already conducts you in their cult. Like, are we going to get, like, are they going to pull some more victims from Art has tormented, and they're already a part of this entity's cult, its followers? I love lore and the weird world building that Damien is doing for this series. I did not expect it. I kind of thought it was going to be like another Halloween or Friday the 13th, where you make it some supernatural weirdness, but it's never really explained. But no, he's creating this weird mythos, and bravo for him. I did not expect it at all. And whenever Terrifier 3 comes out, I hope we get to see more. I hope we get to see more what this entity is. What are its big goals? What are the heavenly or divine forces that are powering Sienna? Is she going to get more allies to go after Art? It's going to be some big epic battle. It's going to be a Cthulhu monster. I'm very curious to see if they can pull it off. So, hey, yeah, Terrifier 2. If it's in your theater, go see it. If it's on streaming, catch it, support this film. I'm flabbergasted. I don't know how to end this. Maybe I should like